Week 29, day 4. And we're back to reading Isaiah chapters 27 through 30. The first of these, chapter 27, is known as a vineyard song. You might remember that we heard that about a chapter previously. But in this vineyard song, as in the one previous, we are given this beautiful word picture of God reestablishing the nation after punishment. God is still calling for repentance, but God knows that the repentance is going to come too little too late. Have you ever had that instance where a friend or a family member has hurt you deeply? And even when they do finally come around, if they do, it's just too little too late at that point. But whereas we may have a difficult time forgiving and even reestablishing relationship, God always has a plan for bringing us back into relationship with Him, even if He does have to put a punishment in there to redirect us back to God. We see that, and we see that promise found here in chapter 27. But then as we read chapters 28 through 30, we learn that before we can get to that beautiful story of salvation and redemption that God has to offer, we're going to have to face a mix of judgment and the words of encouragement that God offers that we will get through the judgment. But the judgment is coming because we have done or not done something that causes us to be worthy of judgment. In all of this, what's really important is to remember that we can become in danger of paying lip service to our commitments to God. Oh, yes, I think God is important. I think church is important. But we then fail to follow up those words with actions. You know, I've always been amazed, particularly it seems among grandparents, and I'm not picking on grandparents, but anybody, they'll say how important it is to spend time in worship with God. But as soon as the grandkids arrive for the weekend or visitors, then all of a sudden God becomes inconvenient and church becomes inconvenient. And I know that I've done this sort of thing in the past myself, but I've come to a point of learning, and not just because I'm a pastor, but I've come to a point when I have friends who stay the weekend, even if they don't want to go to church on a Sunday morning with me, I go by myself. And then I come back and I rejoin them for having fun and all of that. And that hour or so that I miss with them, it doesn't hurt our relationship and it doesn't diminish the good times that we have, but it still demonstrates to them God is important, worship is important, and I'm going to do that whether or not you go with me. Are you willing to make that same kind of commitment and not just pay it lip service, but actually live it out?